I also have the best ideas, I think,
When you're hiking?
when I'm hiking, or I'm in nature in general.
Just in general.
But yeah, specifically when I'm hiking. And it's not like I'm doing anything quote unquote productive. I'm literally just walking from point A to point B and
And
from
then
point
point
B
B
to
to
point
point
A.
A.
There, like when you think about it, there's nothing really productive I'm doing. If I really wanted to be legalistic about being productive, I'd say, well, I would be doing some research about something, or I would be meal prepping for the next week. It's like you could fill in literally anything if you just get legalistic about being productive. But yet, at the same time, walking in nature was probably just as productive because it gave me the idea, for example, with the board game. I was sitting down doing nothing, just having a conversation. I'm sure there's plenty of other productive things that I could have been doing.
Yeah. That same coach that I mentioned to you earlier, he had a client that apparently he would do these walks every morning, and he called it like his $1,000,000 walk.
Hmm.
And he called it his $1,000,000 walk because he'd get, quite literally, like $1,000,000 ideas, because one of these clients was a very prolific entrepreneur. And yeah, those walks were worth their weight in gold.
Yeah.
Because, well, why? And I think it's the same reason why people say that they get their best ideas in the shower. It's because you're just giving yourself space to think.
Yep.
Like nowadays, I think one of the few times, and maybe not even anymore, like you're on the toilet, you're probably on your phone, right? You know, whereas before it's like you probably would have never done that, right? And we're living in this transitionary period where now all the kids, you know, they're probably getting hemorrhoids because I actually had a the brother of an old girlfriend of mine was notorious. Like he would just be on the toilet for like 45 minutes. And yeah, he got like mild hemorrhoids from that because he'd just be on his phone. And
I
like,
wasn't expecting this to go that route, but
well, I'm welcome to the AFA podcast. My name is Mauro Scavo and I'm your host. And we talked about hemorrhoids on the toilet from over phone use. But that's a big problem, man. Like we feel like we can't be off of it. And so even like taking a shower, for example, like I've sent text messages in the shower.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Like you bring your phone into the
Sure.
shower?
I'll put it as a Bluetooth speaker. I'll use it for music. Yeah.
I've never done that before. Even though the iPhone says it's water resistant, I'm always afraid that
it's worked out fine. Well, it's fallen down a few times, and you know that's what the case is for. As I always say, that's what the little case is for. Right. It never shattered, thanks be to God. But there's something to be said about allowing yourself spaces of time where you can just think, and hiking is a great example of that. And whatever that may be, swimming, canoeing, kayaking, anything that you get movement in that requires a low amount of focus. As my coach would say, he would say that you get to use, you give your left, and I know that scientifically this doesn't pan out 100%, but your left hemisphere gets to focus on something that is repetitive, like taking a stroke or stepping or whatever, or even climbing, right? And your right side of the brain gets to focus on creative pursuits, right? And I know it's a little bit of an outdated scientifically speaking, but it maps out quite well and it actually works. Like you give yourself a low cognition task that doesn't require much computational power to just get your joints moving, your body moving, your hands moving, your feet moving, and then you creative juices start flowing. Yeah. That happens to everybody, you know? You have to give yourself something to do. That's why I say, like, you don't always have to sit down for a 3-hour creative brainstorming session. Yeah. Although every now and then you should, because a lot of good stuff comes out of that, especially if you're doing it with somebody else.
That's probably why it's good to travel, because you're probably going for a different reason. You're probably going for a vacation to have a good time, but you're also inevitably forcing yourself to be away from everything you're used to normally doing.
You're in a different environment, right? And that's about novelty, right? So we talked about novelty earlier and the importance of novelty. Like changing your environment is one of the best ways to give yourself novelty. Mm-hmm. And you can do that locally. Like I've many times, like instead of sending an email from here at the home office, I'll go to Barnes and Noble. I'll sit there for an hour And it's amazing how much you can get done with just a change of pace or change of
Yeah.
environment. Like that makes a big difference.